Hello, welcome to this afternoon stream. We're going to hopefully be finishing up this blue noise generator. Before we made this in WebGL, found out it was slower, so now we're doing it multi-threaded with web workers. So I basically had to change up all of how it was programmed. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So let's get started with this. Alright, so we have our old WebGL code, but index.html has the current code and work.js has the current code. So these are the options for generating our blue noise. We've got the image size, the sigma decides how the energy is calculated, the density decides how dense the initial point pattern is. 0.1 is 10%, which is it's what the article that I based it on uses. The count is the number of images it generates. The grayscale, red, green, blue, A is the types of images. Anyways, for whatever reason, this didn't open up the HTML file. Okay. So one thing I noticed I want to change is instead of doing download source code, I'm going to do blue noise. This uses the void and cluster algorithm. Is it cluster and void? Or void and cluster? I guess it's void and cluster. Apparently this is under public domain now. So does that mean if this is under public domain, if I use a public domain algorithm, does that mean that this has to be under public domain, or can I release this under like MIT license? Should I use this guy's real name, or should I use Demo Fox? And I'm pretty sure I have to put copyright Ethan Alexander Schulman no matter what, or I'll get sued. Someone else will claim that this is theirs. Pretty sure it's actually to protect myself. I did remember to switch the scene to desktop, right? Okay. Alright, I did. Man, there have been a bunch of times where I forget to turn my camera on or I forget to unmute my mic. Anyways, let's get into the actual programming now. So we found the maximum energy. The next step here that we were programming is adding energy. Actually, we can make this both adding and subtracting. Hey, Destructor. And I'll just do it adding energy. Alright, so I need to calculate the pixel value where this is happening. So first of all, I need the index, which is... Actually, I should probably program this, the post message, before I do this. Alright, so transfer divided binary slash energy data. Post message 2, I believe, so yeah, it starts the actual execution. Actually, you know what? If the thread ID oh man, I hate switch statements in JavaScript because they don't have their own, you can't create your own scope at all. Like this in C would create its own scope. Let's do that in JavaScript. Alright, anyways, I'll just do it like this. If message.data is bigger than or equal to threads.length or smaller than, then we will just transfer the data, but then otherwise start next step of generating initial blue noise point pattern. Okay. So then here I can just do 1, and then thread ID needs to be n threads. And there we go. So start the next step of generating initial blue noise point pattern. What is that next step? What is that next step? Oh yeah. So this work.copy.js is the old single-threaded code. So I can basically just use this as a complete reference, or basically just copy this and multi-thread it. So this is the part I'm doing right here, is generate initial blue noise sample pattern. I need to do this first part of finding the tightest cluster, from adding a point there, or finding emptiest void. I should probably do this the other way. Let me see what the original article says to do. Find the tightest cluster. Remove the one. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing it backwards. Okay, so I think what I have to do is do for number of threads post message. Which one is the maximum energy? Number 3. So send the message to find the maximum energy. If this turns out to be slower than the single threaded, I'm going to be disappointed. But you never know. Alright, so I should record the state of this as well. So the first thing it does, post this message 0, which calculates the initial stuff. Goes here, the state becomes 1. So this has to wait until all of the threads have returned. So I'm just going to create an array. This array is going to store a Boolean. One of them is going to store a Boolean of whether or not thread done is going to be a Boolean of whether or not thread's done or not. Oh, I just realized end threads here is wrong. End threads should be like this. Or actually, this is thread data instead of thread values, isn't it? Let's get some music going too. Alright, so now when it sends out this post message, it's going to set thread done to false. Then once this returns, this actually should say, so thread ID tells me which one is done. So I can do thread done, thread ID equals true, and then I loop through all of the threads. And if they're all done, so this is why I hate doing case statements, because any of these temporary variables I make are going to be in any of these other case statements. Let me check something with scope in JavaScript. Yeah, so it still defines T. I think I have to do like if one. Nope, that doesn't do it either. So yeah, this is what let is for, right? Oh yeah, so JavaScript only has new scopes. Okay. So I do need to use let. Where is let supported and not supported? Oh my god, there's browsers that don't support it. Let variables are not bound separately. Oh my god, there's still browsers that haven't implemented it. What's QQ browser? Only supports in strict mode. Oh no. I really wouldn't worry more than the top 3 or maybe 4, 5 most up-to-date browsers, but it's your project, yeah. I just think it's ridiculous when they have this super new awesome feature that JavaScript probably should have had since the beginning, and you basically don't feel like using it because it's still not supported on IE. Well, I guess IE is replaced with Edge now, so whatever though. This will still work fine. So if IC is bigger than equal threads.length, then all the threads are done. Someone called my work because our website didn't work on his IE6 browser. He was told that it's unreasonable for us to support it and he has to upgrade to use our site, and he did. Using IE6. Oh god, he probably has so many viruses. Ew. It was the wrong version of IE. Yeah. Alright, so what's the data for this? The max value and this. I guess I can just use message.data. So then once it's done here, it searches through the actual data. Since it's finding the max value, this will start at 0. So then the value is stored here. So if the value bigger than the max value, set the max value to this and set the max index to that. Alright, so now this will search through all the thread results and find the max result between the threads. And then here I do the actual operation on the end thread result. So first of all, if my state is 1, like on this first step right here when it's generating the initial blue noise point pattern, okay, so I need to store this result and then compare it when and compare it when it computes the minimum. So the next thing I have to do though is compute the minimum. So I can actually just start doing that right away. I'm actually going to create this T is going to dispatch threads on a certain function. Alright, awesome. So now right here, I can just do dispatch threads 3. I'll do that all automatically. Right here, I can just do dispatch threads 2. Okay. So now I actually need to do this same thing for when it finds the minimum energy. Oh, wait. This is actually not correct. So, looking through this, finds the highest energy, the max void, and then it removes a point there, and it removes the energy. So I actually need to create my remove energy code. Alright, so let me program this first. I'll remove the binary part first, because I actually need to setting the binary is actually going to be function 4 set binary value. So this will be something that's like a fire and forget, because it's just setting a single value. It doesn't really need to wait till it's done. So what it's going to do is binary. Is it going to set it by index? Yeah, so let me actually do the post message call here. So what I'll do is first I need to calculate the actual, well, the MI is going to be the ID of where I'm going to be setting it. I should comment this actually. Remove Titus cluster to generate initial pattern. Alright, so now the thread, getting the thread ID from the index will be the index divided by the thread's dividing size. What would, should I just calculate that here? It's just math.ceil total size divided by number of threads. So actually it's modulo subsize. Okay, actually, so the thread ID is floor divided by then the subindex, so thread ID, post message, message 4 to set binary value, so then we want to set the binary value at mi minus tid times subsize to get the actual index. And then we want to set it to 0 to remove it. So this is setting data 1 to data 2. All right. And now we also need to send a message to all of the threads to remove the energy. So dispatch threads, remove energy, which will be function 6. All right, so let's program the adding energy function. Oh, so it actually needs to pass in the value. The index. All right, so replace width with size, and this actually does calculate the index. We already have the sigma. I replace index with size still. All right, there we go. So that adds the energy. Actually, wait, no, it doesn't. Well, I gotta go start packing so I can start my journey. Good luck on your journey, dude. Ah, yeah, so because this is subdivided, I have to do the iteration differently. I have to start it at the data X and data Y. Alright, so I actually gotta calculate Y size. Is the size minus the data Y. So it goes data Y to whatever the next subsize is, so that's data Y plus the length of the array. If Y equals data Y, if it's the first row, then it's going to start at data X, otherwise it starts at 0. So I'm actually going to need to do different for statements for the beginning and end. So what I think I'm going to do is let's do the first line where it's like data X, the size, and then the Y would be the data Y. Oh yeah, the index is actually going to be in message data 1. Alright, so there we go. That does the first row. And then we need to do all of the Y rows from data Y plus 1 to Y size minus 1. This is a lot of work to do multi-threading. I already knew that, but like, yeah. So to calculate this, I probably want to do data index plus the length, and then calculate the Y by dividing it by size. And then I can calculate the ending X like this too. X size equals end index minus Y size times size. Awesome. Here we go. So now we can go Y size minus minus bigger than Y size. All along here we can just do full X size. And then down here we do the last X row. That's X to X size. Awesome. So then I think I should do post message. Say that we're done. Now I need the removing energy version of this as well. Now all this does is minus equals instead of plus equals. The thing is, this is the most efficient way of just having two separate versions. Alright, so this asks it to dispatch the indexes, so I'm going to get the result. JavaScript is post message queued. Will be queued by the worker script. Worker still in use. The messages are saved in a queue. Awesome. Okay, so that means that I don't actually need to check if this is finished or send any message when these are done, because it'll just automatically queue up until it's done. So then, after removing the tightest cluster, begin finding emptiest void. So instead of finding the maximum energy, that's finding the minimum. So just like how we did up there with 2, we do it with 3. Awesome. So now we just need this same code basically right here. I'm going to declare all these variables up here, just because that's kind of how it should be, I think. I don't know, I'm going to see if that calls an error or not. Anyways, for the minimum value here, we want this to start at 1e8, and we want this to check if it's smaller than, not greater than. We're going to remove the emptiest void to generate the initial pattern. Alright, so then right here, it removes energy. So I need to set that 5. Alright, now I also need to keep track if the emptiest void is the same as the tightest cluster. So let me see how this works. Yeah, this should work. Okay, so I need to save what the tightest cluster was. Save ID equals MI. If MI equals save ID. Find next tightest cluster. All right, so now that I'm here, I'm actually going to end everything here and just output the pattern. So this way I can make sure it's actually generating everything correct. All of the web workers work the way I expect. So now I'm going to need to output the binary pattern. So I'm going to create a function here. I'll output calculate final and value intensities and to output. So at the beginning here, it's just going to multiply it by 255. So this will turn any binary ones to 255, which will show up as white. And then to output it, I want to send the buffer. So to make it transferable, I do the sbin.buffer. Should transfer it. And to create a statement for this, case 8. Receive output image intensities. So at this point, we output our image data. And I actually have to do this same thing from the energy code here. So I need to do the same thing I do up here for calculating the data X, data Y. Actually, I can just output these instead of calculating them again. So thread data X is message data 1, T data Y is message 2, and T data index is message data 3. The binary data is message data 4. All right. So instead of outputting the energy or calculating this, you know what? We actually don't need any image indexes for this. We can just loop through the whole thing, I believe. I equals data index bigger than, we need to calculate the end data index. We'll output the data index as well as the ending index, which is data index plus sbin.length. Oh wait, if it's plus sbin.length, tdata index plus sbin.length. Awesome. So the pixel index, I believe, is the starting index times 4. And then, you know what? I'm an idiot. I don't even need these bools. I don't need an array. I just need to count how many threads are done. That was a really stupid way of doing things. So let me change this around. This sets threads done to 0. And it should also set thread values to null, or thread data to null, just so that the memory is released, just in case. Threads done plus plus. Thread data equals this. This way you don't need to count how many threads are done. If threads done bigger than or equal to threads.length. Alright, now I can do the exact same thing here. And the same thing here. So this right here out here is the alpha. I just want that to be 255. So then once this is done, you can do a threads done plus plus. If threads done bigger than or equal to threads.length, then we're done. We're going to do image context dot put image data, document get element out div. I think it's called out div, isn't it? Out div. Yep. get out div and add the image as an element. So putting the image data back, it's image data 0, 0. That's all awesome. And then we can set the state to -1. We can terminate the worker threads. All right, let's see if there's anything wrong with our code. There isn't. Reference error, end thread is not defined. Oh, it's end thread instead of end threads. Okay. Okay, I don't know where it's getting stuck. And I gotta make a progress function. This way I can update it from here as well. Oh, I'm just setting it to -1 here, but wait, it's not getting there. What's happening? Alright, so divided energy data. Start next step of generating initial point pattern. So this is nowhere close to 10% done. 0%, 1%, 2%. We don't even need to send any progress reports. I can just do this all from here. It's actually a waste otherwise. So when it starts, progress 0. And right here, when it begins generating, progress 2. So this goes to execute number 3. Let's see what it does here. Console. Take this cluster of value at Wait, the last thread isn't finishing? If state equals 1, dispatch threads 3. Oh my god, I have 2 case 3s. Absolute idiot. 0 at undefined. Threads TID is undefined. Thread data 300. Oh, I'm an idiot. Assigning V to MV. Did it not recompile this or something? What is even happening here? It's executing, finding maximum energy here. It's looping through all the elements here, checking if which ones are 1. Wait, are none of them 1s? Is that the issue? Let me try something. Oh, it's length 0. What the heck? What? Web workers are confusing. Post message I 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 3, 4. No, it's good. I'm going to make case 0 debug. Just going to output the data. So then here I can do something like if this length equals 0. Then I can output the debug message. Why is this 0? Wait, it's not 0 this time. What? I'm so confused. Why can't I view these? Why is the buffer 0? Is there a glitch with transferring data between web workers? Or like, why is this 0? I'm betting if I remove this transferable option here for the web worker, it'll work. No, it still doesn't. Huh. What is even happening here? End threads is at message data 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Huh. I'm really confused why this is even happening. Maybe there's an error in the web worker. But what's so weird is that if this length is 0 or smaller than this S size, wait. Maybe S size is 0. No, it's still not outputting it. So I don't understand when it's outputting these array of 1s, what it's even doing. Because it shouldn't be outputting all 1s. It's got this random number generator seeding. Oh, I'm not seeding it properly. Well, that would explain a lot. So there's actually errors in the web worker. Here we go. Now it's random. But it's still not outputting the data correctly. What the heck? Man, JavaScript confuses the hell out of me sometimes. Alright, so this all of a sudden isn't 0 now that they add this if statement. If I remove the if statement, does it make it 0 again? And it does. Oh my god, I do not understand JavaScript web workers. Holy crap. Man, JavaScript is stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Alright, I should take away all of the transferring code I do. So output this to the console. Web worker log console errors. On error receives an event called error. I need to attach that. So I'll go into the JavaScript code where it creates the threads over here. I'm going to add an on error event listener. Alright, so the buffer is not working. JavaScript uint8 array. Brings up 0. Or if sub.length smaller than equal s size, or sub.length smaller than equal 0. Then post a debug message. And now it's 0 again. What the heck is happening? If this is 0, then how isn't this posting a message? So confused. Is there something wrong with my error handling here? Alright, so I'm just going to assume the data isn't 0 here at all. For whatever reason, JavaScript is just freeing the memory and it can't output it to console. Let's just assume that. So then when it dispatches this to the threads, we'll check if the data bigger than 0 or equal to 0. If it's not, then we'll post a debug message. So there's no debug message, which means that it is still executing correctly. So it must not be 0 over here. Otherwise it would post this message. But passing all the data size, yeah. Oh, I guess when it transfers it here, deleting the data on this end. Alright, so there's something wrong with this finding maximum energy. So it's dispatching threads on 3. As if this is 0, we'll output a message. I wonder if this is using the same initialization as that. Well, I guess we can actually use this to debug the initialization values. Could also be that the energy is actually 0. Yeah, there's no B value here to output to, or to increment. So energy is actually 0, and now it's working. Oh, it stopped responding. I think it's outputting a lot to the console. Oh, it's finding the exact same clusters in the exact same spots. It must not be removing values or something. Oh god. Why is it using 2K memory? Why is it using 2K memory, JavaScript? Oh god. You know, Firefox, JavaScript is still not designed to do very heavy computations. I have to say, they have web workers and all this, but it has major issues. God damn. So I need to see what's happening here. Let me see if I take away the debugging. So it begins finding the emptiest void here. After it finds this tightest cluster, done. State equals -1. This is actually where I need to set state to 8. Set to state to 2 and dispatch 8. And then right here I output done. I also need some way of printing out progress. It doesn't update the percentage right now. The issue is that this first part, you don't really know how many iterations it's going to take. And it seems like it never stopped there. Oh, I never set this binary point to 1. That explains it. So how do I can't even make a progress bar for this then. If you don't know how much it's going to update. I guess I can just do progress 5. Done. And it's wrong. So this is supposed to be an evenly spaced blue noise pattern. And it's not. That is not evenly spaced at all. In fact, this actually looks like, that's really interesting because this looks like the initial binary pattern. So wait, let me see if right here, if instead of doing this, instead if I render the output, does the pattern look exactly the same? Oh my god, it does. So first of all, it actually seems like I'm doing something wrong to generate my initial pattern, because it seems to be biased towards the one side. If you can see, it doesn't output even nearly as much in the left corner than in the bottom right. So this is the initial pattern generation right here. It picks random numbers out of a hat. I'm guessing the issue is with my RNG function then. If I had to guess, I'm picking the numbers out of the hat, then I'm taking them out of the hat. I initialize them to 1 right here and the rest of them to 0. I wonder if it's the RNG function. Where am I seeding? So seed equals message data 3. 1, 2, 3. RNG times 1,000. What if instead of doing this, I just do the seed? It's doing a different value each time. Oh no. That's not good. It's supposed to be random. Yeah, no, it's generating different values each time. Oh no. So seed equals s parse f, element value, math.random, s parse f, string. It's not a number or not finite, return default. Seed. Nope, the seed is correct. And it's exactly the same, but it's generating different values. Am I using math.random somewhere? No, I'm not. It's just right here at the default value. This makes no sense. Why is it different then? Seed is set to the exact same. What is even happening? What? The seed is exactly the same. What? This actually doesn't make sense. Calculate initial pattern. This is literally just random points. Is this non-deterministic? No, it's returning exactly the same values. Exactly the same values. No. How is this? I'm dumbfounded right now. Seed equals message data 3. Maybe when it's splitting these arrays, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. How do I even debug this? So I have a completely deterministic algorithm that the only RNG function is completely deterministic. And for some reason, with the exact same seed, it outputs different values each time. What the heck is even happening? I'm actually dumbfounded. Like what is happening? Post message 0, 1, 2, seed 3. This don't make any sense. And even when I had an error in the web worker, it wasn't giving an error. Alright, so right now it's not actually generating random values, which is interesting. Let me try using math.random here. Wait. With math.random, it's not even doing anything. Oh, I'm an idiot. Wait, so with math.random, it's not random either. What's even happening in web workers, in these web workers? How in the heck? Hat.length. to start debugging this, let's just try setting these all to 1. Okay, it's a success. Let's try doing on and off 1. Okay, that works. Let's check if rs bigger than equal hat.length or rs smaller than 0. Then we'll debug. No, there's no errors like that. That is how I initialized it here, right? Yeah, I initialize up to endpoints. Let me try density floor. Times t size. So now it's kind of working. It's still not even close to as random though as I feel like it's repeating because of the way I'm outputting. Wait, am I just not setting threads done to 0? No, wait, this sets threads done to 0. Alright, I'm pretty confident it's something right here when it's passing over this array. Let me just debug this. Message.data. So it's actually outputting the values here. Oh, interesting though. The indices for wait a second. With these offsets, each array shouldn't be 256. It should be 32. I think I found the error. Let me do a test here. Test array, new event 8 array, 16. Initialize it like that. Then we'll test creating a new uint 8 array from that array. So that created a 16 by 16 new uint 8 array from existing. Oh, I have to do from buffer. Then it's 4. Okay. Oh, so it was just that mistake. Fucking JavaScript, man. Oh my god. Okay, now it's outputting nothing. Oh, we actually got an error. Type error attempting to access detached array buffer. What? Line number 58. Yeah, so right here. Web worker to access detached array buffer. Oh, so this detaches them. Oh my god. I think that's it. I think that works. Let me try testing this a few times. Awesome, it's generating the exact same thing and it looks random. Alright, now we want to test the Poisson disk blue noise sample point generation. So remove this. It should automatically load up the sample generation. Oh yeah, so it actually, this doesn't seem that blue to me. It's got these points that are all together. But I guess that's the way it works. Like, I almost wonder if this other method right here is actually doing it better. I'm going to have it output these initial points. Yeah, it's 100% doing a better. Oh no, it's not working. And this one actually seems like it's slower than this one. No. Oh, when the multi-threaded is slower than the threaded. Man, optimizing stuff is hard. Stupid web workers. Making you think stuff can be multi-threaded better. I wonder how much locking and like synchronizing there is behind the scenes for this to actually run slower. Damn. I guess everything has to synchronize with the main thread though, so let me see. JavaScript web worker post message slow. Web worker delay. It's really interesting to me how this actually runs slower when technically it's splitting the loop through all the arrays between different threads. Maybe it gets faster as it gets to higher values like this. I probably shouldn't have ran both these at the same time. 17. So it's equal. And what's super interesting is that's supposed to be running on all the threads on my PC, but Firefox was only using 30%. So this is supposed to be running on all 8 threads, and it's only using 16%. Threads. I wonder what's happening. It almost seems like threads done isn't resetting. Threads done equals 0. It resets it right there. Oh, each time it dispatches these, it's resetting it when I only need to reset it for specific ones. Okay, see if this fixes it. Now threads done is undefined. What? What? Threads done. What in the heck? How is threads done undefined here? %0 done? What is happening? Threads execute. Actually, though, what the hell is happening? Progress 0, post message. This thread, 5% done. So that sets up threads done. And it still doesn't look correct. I don't know why this never becomes 0. Alright, I really feel like this is skipping the initial part. Set binary value. So yeah, it's setting binary values right here. add energy. Now that point's 1. This adds energy. This removes energy. I actually have no idea why this isn't working. Finds the minimum energy and returns it. It finds the maximum energy and returns it. I actually don't know what this could be. Let's walk through step by step. So calls 0, which returns this. Post message with the ID 1 up until I is equal to number of threads, which happens right here. Then it starts the next step by setting progress to 5. Sets state to 1. Sets threads done to 0 and dispatches the third function, which is find the maximum energy. Just loops through all the binary and energy values, finding the max energy value. It returns that max energy value as well as the index. Same thing happens with the minimum. It's just if smaller than and if equal to 0. So then it returns from that posting message 3, stores the data, maybe I should output the thread data and call the debugger just to test it. Console.log thread data. Wait, it called the debugger, but it didn't print out the thread data? What? What? What is it? What is it even doing? It didn't call debugger. Wait, what? Okay, why isn't it pausing it on this debugger call? Isn't that what debugger is supposed to do, is pause the execution right here? Is there a reason why it's not pausing? Man, I feel like web workers are just bugging everything out. Like, as soon as I add in web workers, there's all these bugs. And it's so hard to debug. Holy shit. So console.log thread data. This is where I want to break. Okay, so now it actually broke. So it output the thread data. Alright, so we've actually got our maximum values. Alright, so this is looping through. Finding the maximum values. Setting it to the max value and index. Then it runs down here and it switches over to finding the minimum value. It assigns mi to save ID to check if it's done yet. If data is smaller than the minimum value, then set the minimum value to the data and set the index to that. I actually have no idea what's happening right here. As far as I'm aware, everything's working fine. Wait. Console.log thread data is only being called 3 times. And this is outputting null. Oh. Why is this outputting null? Done equals 0. Oh, this assigns thread data to null. I'm going to create a different version of this for dispatching data threads it's going to have. It's going to reset the threads done, and it's going to reset the thread data to null. All right. So now I need to figure out where to use these. So here I would use the data dispatch. Here I would use the data dispatch. Here I would use the data dispatch. Here. All right. Nope, it's still outputting null. Let's test this. It's outputting null on the first one. I don't think it refreshed or something. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So it's outputting null for every single one. Jesus Christ, what? Thread data is all null, but it should have just assigned all of this. It sets them all and they're ending up null. What the heck? Thread data, thread ID. Thread ID is right here. So instead of doing threads done, let me do thread ID. Yeah, it's absolutely fine, except for null. Alright, so it kind of makes sense when I'm setting this to null. that it's null. But why is it setting it to null after I've called that? Like, is it, if I output thread data after all of this, will it be a different value in the console or what? It says that they're partway null. I guess it's message.data that's ending up null. Do I have to copy the message.data to its own array? Is that it? You just can't use message.data directly? Let's try it. Data1, message.data2. And this will become data0, 1. Oh god, it just output a ton of stuff to the console. And it's not null. And it's not stopping the web workers. Oh no. Okay, so there's still some of them that are null. What the hell? Dude, I do not understand web workers. Holy shit. So this is the other thing. I just refreshed the page. The web workers should be stopped. It's still using a gig of my RAM, and it's still using 2% of the CPU usage. It really seems to me like the web workers didn't stop. Holy shit, JavaScript development in 2019. Yep, it's still outputting all null. Seriously doesn't make any fucking sense. So look at this shit. Assigning thread data to the thread ID. Thread ID is this function input here that never changes. Assigning the thread data to this array of data. Outputting that array once it has added up to all the number of threads. Somehow outputs null. Somehow when you set each element to an array, it outputs null. And I debugged this. Thread ID is different for each one. If it's setting each of these to a new array, then how is it outputting null here? What is JavaScript doing? Like, actually, what the hell is happening here that thread data is getting set to null? Holy shit. Like, there has to be something that I messed up here, right? Thread data doesn't just get set all its elements to null except for right here. And anytime I call this, it's when it's actually calculating the next thread values and it needs to be reset. What the hell is happening? I'm so confused. Alright, so we are just going to stop right here. Just stop execution. We're going to output the threads done. We're going to output the thread data, or thread ID, and we're going to output the thread data. Threads ID is not defined. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's see what it's doing. Thread 0. Oh my god, wait, thread ID actually has values here. Oh my god, I think it's just not outputting null because it's not converting it to a string. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. It was working all along, it's just the console.log was turning it to null because it was referencing the memory. Holy shit. So that raises even more questions though. Because then why does this take like 3 times as long as this, but it's way worse? Dude, web workers are fucking trash. Holy shit. I just wasted like 8 hours multi-threading with web workers and then realizing that web workers are completely bugged out and slow. Oof. JavaScript in 2019. Yeah, so posting messages to threads must be super slow because everything else is exactly the same code. The only thing that's different is the web worker message posting. I didn't forget a break somewhere, did I? Because that could also be with all these switch statements. No, there's breaks everywhere for each of these. This actually doesn't make sense. Find max energy, find min energy. Like, let's see, the one thing that's different is the order of these is swapped. So let's try swapping it here and let's see if that actually breaks it. No, it works exactly the same. In fact, I think it's actually faster. Jesus Christ. JavaScript web worker slower. Are always 25% slower with expensive operations. Sharply decline after 30 seconds. That's weird. I think posting all these messages causes a whole bunch of garbage collection to happen, is my guess. Or maybe I have to use... No, actually, like, I have no fucking clue here. Seriously? Because this shit is, like, exactly the same. Literally exactly the same code. The only difference is it's in web workers, and somehow it runs slower, and there's a bunch of bugs. So, like, what do I even do? I'll try taking away these transferable optimizations that could be causing issues, but I really doubt it. So this sets the binary point to 1. Reds TID sets it to 1 TID times subsize. Yeah. So this gives the local pixel index. I think this could be a part that's going wrong. Assigned subbinary at the index to the data. Alright, well that's exactly the same and it works, so remove energy still works. Jesus. Maybe my issue is with this add and remove energy. Add energy for point at index. At index mi. So divided by size for the y. For the x, it's the mod of that. This does the first row of the x. This does all the next rows. Floor and index divided by size. And the x size is the index. Y size times size. Okay. So once again, this part looks right. X minus ix, y minus iy. And finally, the last X size. Y size minus IY. Yeah, this is all right. Same with this part, because this is just a copy of this with negatives. So if it's all right, but it's still glitching out, what the heck? I'm going to be honest, I have no clue what's going wrong. Because as far as I'm aware, this is the exact same algorithm. Part of the thing that really throws me off too is it seems like web workers don't actually throw errors when they fail, even though I have the error event listener set up. It's still not throwing errors when I have errors in the code. So it only throws them a few every once in a while when I do something seriously wrong. This is weird. I had to guess it's something with this energy function. But that, yeah, it makes me wonder if this, when I calculate the energy here and I copy it to the buffer, if it's not copying here. Let me just make sure this works with float 32 arrays. Because I actually tested this with uint8 arrays, and now that I think about it, it could only be working one way with the uint8 array. Oh my god. The offset is in bytes. Holy shit! What the fuck, JavaScript? Is this even in the documentation? Is this even in the docs? Oh my god. Byte offset. Oh my god, it is in the documentation. Why is everything else in normal length and then all of a sudden they have byte offset? Why the hell do they use bytes all of a sudden when they never use bytes otherwise? Holy shit. Alright, is length in bytes too? I don't think so. Whoa. So, this still isn't working. Attempting to construct out of bounds. What a stupid language. So this is still bytes. So it's step I times 4. I still don't know what's going wrong here. The generate initial pattern is exactly the same. Calculate initial energy. Is this the same? Well, considering I literally copied the code, it is the same. So I've got size initialized and everything. Size, sigma, number of threads, it's all initialized here. Jesus. So there's like, I literally copied the code and it doesn't work. So what the hell is going wrong in the JavaScript? It's not throwing any errors. Huh. Maybe it's something with the multiple threads initialization here. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, yeah, okay, it's passing the data. I am completely dumbfounded. I have no fucking idea what's happening. Let's try debugging thread data again. 109, 214, 14, 0.7, 49. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. It's outputting the local index, and then it's treating it here as the global index. This is supposed to be data index plus MI. Oh, one stupid little error. One stupid little error. Wait. Now I gotta remove that debug code to check. Okay. So now it's a bit buggy. So this error of the lines never happens there, so this must be still an issue. But it still happens slower. I'm fairly certain that the multi-threaded is still slower. Jesus. Stupid web workers. Stupid, stupid web workers. So where is that current bug coming from as well? What's making it it's making it render with those lines right there. I don't know if I even want to bother debugging this now, because I know it runs slower than the single thread. How the fuck are JavaScript web workers this bad that a multi-threaded program runs slower than the single-threaded? Holy shit. Even on very large numbers where there is basically no doubt here that, let me check the task manager. So this is supposed to be running on 8 threads too, and it's running on a single thread. Firefox web worker running on single thread. So that would explain actually why it's not running any faster because it's not running on multiple threads. Fire web as web worker sync running core. JavaScript fucking sucks, man. Like, holy shit. Absolutely fucking stupid. This is so aggravating to me that I just spent 5 hours making something multi-threaded with web workers to realize that web workers doesn't actually run it on multiple threads. Fucking posting this on the JavaScript subreddit. Holy shit. Look at this shit. 8 web workers, 1 thread. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh shit, look, it went up to 100. Okay, so right at the very end, it spiked up to 100. What? I'm so confused. So let me make sure this binary pattern works right here. So this should output the initial binary pattern before any of the blue noise sampling. So it's hard to tell. I don't think the lines are caused by any issues there. Basically trying to isolate where these lines are caused by. If I had to guess, it's something with finding this maximum energy. Or maybe adding the energy. Set binary point to 1. Mi minus thread ID times subsize. I I honestly have no fucking clue what's happening. far as I can tell, this is exactly the same as this. The initialization's the same. It checks the clusters in the same order. This removes the tightest cluster, sets the binary point to 0. Remove energy now that point 0. Oh my god. Remove energy. It's like literally all right here, and it doesn't work. What the fuck? Jesus. Maybe it's not loading in the right sigma here. I don't know. Data x equals data y times size. Yeah, that's all correct. Is it passing in the correct data? 1 is the binary, 2 is the energy, 3 is the size, 4 is the sigma, 5 is the data index, which is message data 2, which is right here. Yeah. This is like the same exact code. The only thing I could see different is this set binary point. That is how I calculate the subsize, right? Let me actually check. If subsize does not equals... I'm allowed to check that, but I can make sure the equation is the same. Ceil total size divided by n threads. Total size is size times size. Total size here is size times size divided by number of threads divided by number of threads. It's the exact same. The exact same. Oh my god. Yep, so that's correct. I honestly have no clue what is happening here. So can't fix what I don't know. Actually, in this, I think I'm setting the density to 1 out of 20. So that is 0.05. Oh no, I forgot to remove that. No, it still has those weird lines. And this generates way quicker. I'm just really curious what could be going wrong here. So all this code matches up. So I honestly don't know what to do here. It just really annoys me that there's something that doesn't match up, but it all seems to match up. That doesn't make sense to me. And I know the data index matches up because that's what it uses to output the pixels. I honestly don't fucking know. I mean, there must not be any bugs with WebWorker, but I don't know what else could be going wrong here. Let's do some debugging. Just see if this fails. Oh! Okay, so there's a few times where this is returning unresponsive. So let's output this. Oh, I think it's fine. I think it's just outputting a really small value. And now it's not outputting it. Oh yeah, so it's just at 0. It's not actually glitching out. So looking at this, one of the things I can notice is it seems to happen more as it goes farther down the image. Like these lines don't really happen up there. So one of the things I'm going to try to do is when I start up the image here, I'm going to set the whole image to green. So this way, if it's not rendering any pixels, I'll see them as green. No, it looks like it's rendering all of them, which means that it's an issue somewhere with the actual calculation. So if mi does not equal save ID, I'm going to alert what the same ones are. Equals save ID. Now, do I compare the values here or the index? Okay, I compare the index. The same thing. It's just really confusing how this works perfectly fine. Could it be part of this compute energy function? I don't think so. Because it's literally just a copy and paste for calculating the initial energy. And this is just 4 for loops. So maybe it's something updating the energy. Add energy data X. This data Y. Unless the data X and Y is wrong, but I don't think it is because the data index has ended up calculating as correct. Huh. If the data X and Y are wrong, the data index would be wrong as well. Alright, dy here is just data y minus iy. Here it's y size. Let me check something. If SEnergy.length does not equal SBin.length. Wait, can you use alert in WebWorker? Wait, you can just do alert from here? This is stupid. It's like a tiny little error of repeating artifact points. It's almost like it's copying the array buffer over wrong or something like that. Like my main thing is that these points, the method doesn't finish until the points actually converge as the tightest and emptiest void. So like if these pixels were actually lining up in the calculation, then this would never return or finish like it did before. Let me try out putting alert here. Oh, alert is not defined. Hello, not a number. Wait, what was that? So I guess alert isn't defined, so I'm going to do if. It's weird how Stack Overflow says some stuff is one way and it's actually another way. It seems to happen a lot. No, nothing output. What? 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 Oh, this has one too little steps, I think. I think this isn't supposed to be y minus minus. Oh, if it's just this y minus minus, that's going to be funny. Yeah, that's all it was. Oh, that's stupid. So this is the thing, web workers gives no errors. Like half the time you'll do something completely wrong and it won't give you any messages. It's actually ridiculous. And then the thing is it's supposed to run on multiple threads, but if you see here, if I generate a 256 by 256 in a single thread, uses 17% memory usage or CPU usage. And we're actually going to time how long it takes to generate. 16 seconds. So on that single thread. And then, since we have our start time here, when it's done, we're going to do generated in date.now minus start time seconds. Now let's test this version. And just for reference, this is running in 8 different web workers, and it's still using 17%, which is a single core. And it finished in, oh, I had an error. Generated in not a number seconds. Fucking classic. Did I not even set up start time? I didn't even initialize start time. Okay, let's try this again. It just aggravates me so much that I tried to multi-thread this, and it doesn't even run in multiple threads. Holy shit. Like what? Like look right here, right at the end it spikes up, so it actually generates slower than it did in the single thread. So wait, let me see if doing n threads minus 1 actually makes it faster, doing 7 threads. Because that'll give 1 thread to call back to. Nope, it's exactly the same. I wonder if I could profile it here. I'm wondering what all those red points are. And I'm wondering, is the profiler not actually recording? So right here at the end is when it's finally doing work on the worker. Other than that, it's just doing CC graph reduction. What? Why isn't it executing? Oh my god. JavaScript, web worker, task manager, not 100% CPU usage. There has to be some sort of delay to the web workers that's making this slow, because like there's no reason here. Let me do a quick test. What if instead of doing this, when we start the web workers, it just does a giant fucking loop. It's a giant counting loop. Then at the end of that, it outputs that loop. How much CPU usage will this use? Is this even going to output? So it almost seems like the web workers don't even execute code. I'm really confused, because what this should be doing is starting to execute this, posting the message. It'll start the web worker, it'll add the, oh, it must run this before anything else. So I probably need to post a message. So right now I'm actually going to benchmark what the raw performance is of the web workers to see if it's actually my code or if it's the post message. All right, here we go. Whoa, it counted to 1,000 really fast. I wonder if it's not counting. All right, I don't believe this is finishing that quick. Let's try while true. Okay, so it's actually able to use 100% of my CPU. Well, like 85%. That's cool. It's not making OBS drop frames. So that makes me wonder, what could I do to speed this up? I mean, I don't know what I can do actually, because all of this is limited by the WebGL post message. And that my main slowdown here is that you can't communicate between web workers. You need to communicate between the JavaScript main thread and the web workers, and the JavaScript main thread is slow as hell. So it bottlenecks all of the web workers, and they can't actually use all of the multiple threads. It's fucking such a stupid design. How did they not see the issues with this when you're designing multi-threaded programs not being able to pass data between the threads? Like, for fuck's sake, Mozilla devs, come on, you can do better than this. So my main slowdown is that you can't synchronize between the threads themselves. You need to synchronize with this JavaScript main thread, and you can only do this through the web worker post message function, which you can see me call at the end of all of these. So at the end of doing my execution, I send a message saying, hey, start the rest of the next execution. The issue for this is it literally has to wait on the main thread to synchronize all the other threads every time. Holy shit. Web worker post message bottleneck. There's a telling issue in Chrome. Too many web workers can cause a silent crash. Huh. Man, Google sucks. I hate how the Google search results are just worse now. Oh my god, I have safe search off. Oh god. Ah, screw it. Alright. Well, this has been disappointing. I already knew how fucking bad JavaScript was, but this is just like, holy shit, why does anyone use JavaScript? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh god. I just feel like me using JavaScript has just been such a waste of time. Like, why do I actually use this shitty language? Holy fuck, I hate designing the UI in CSS. Like, a bunch of people go, oh, I love designing the UI in HTML and CSS, and I'm like, I fucking hate style sheets. It doesn't work half the time I want. You can't even align things left or right properly. Like, they call it style sheets, but it doesn't even have fucking alignment down unless you use tables. It's so fucking badly designed. Oh my god. So this will be the end of the stream. I'll be playing Borderlands tonight. If you want to talk about any of this, I'll be in the Discord. Link for that is below. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. I'm going to be moving over to some C work. So that'll be really fun. I'm going to finally get back to work on my engine. So if you're interested in more programming, check out my stream tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.